Thank you for joining us tonight. The pandemic shook things up for all of us, how we work, play, and learn.
When many schools switched to the virtual learning, many families and their students switched schools. As Madeline O'Neill tells us in the first story in our Virtual Impact series, those changes could be lasting.
It was hard.
Hard making friends when you've never set foot in your middle school.
And it was just like standing in a room of strangers.
Making for a strange start to 6th grade for Presley Rhineflesh, who's dragging her feet a bit when it comes to virtual learning.
You get to hang out with me.
But there wasn't really anything to like about it.
Didn't really have a choice.
No.
Like so many parents, Mom Jennifer had to make a choice for both her daughters. Presley, who could handle the technology easily, stayed in the Madison Metropolitan School District. But 6-year-old Addie was different.
She cried almost every single day and was begging to go to a school that was open.
So sending her first grader to a private school with in-person learning turned out to be an easy choice. One many other parents made as well.
This has been our biggest year of enrollment that we've ever had with private pay families.
Chuck Moore is principal at High Point Christian School on Madison's west side.
Our challenge has been to create as normal as possible school in the midst of, I don't know, I think of it as crazy.
In-person classes have been going on for more than 150 days now.
5 cents is lower than 50 cents. So
Doing the math, Moore thinks that led to many families previously in public, virtual-only schools being interested in his school.
There was a lot of rejection of virtual as the best way to do it, and frustration. It depends on the student how well that works.
In our area's 5 biggest school districts, Department of Public Instruction numbers show enrollment went down at the start of the 2021 school year. In fall semester, Madison schools found about 90% of students who left were enrolled in the 4K and elementary school levels. Nearby Middleton Cross Plains thought it would add students this past school year. Instead, it lost hundreds. A district spokesperson says many of those families likely found in-person alternatives, while the district stayed virtual for half the year. For some, like the Janesville School District, a decrease in enrollment was part of an ongoing trend, expected, pandemic or no.
The pandemic has certainly highlighted the fact that, there are other options and choices.
Students there had the opportunity to return to class in person from day one or enroll in the district's established virtual charter school.
That school historically housed 200 to 300 kids. And so once that choice opened up under the premise of the pandemic, that enrollment bulged to 3,200.
DPI numbers show enrollment in Wisconsin's virtual charter schools nearly doubled from the 1920 school year to this school year.
Well, we definitely had the platform and all the tools.
The Wisconsin Virtual Academy saw a similar size jump at its K-8 charter school.
We ended up getting a lot of students this year, even after school started, because they realized they needed a more consistent plan. Nobody was kind of sure what was happening at their local district.
wait, if we round it.
Now, the question is, will students who transferred stay in their new homes? Janesville's virtual charter school is already seeing enrollment drop off, but not to pre-pandemic levels.
And the fact that our charter school typically had 200 kids in it, and we're looking at probably 400 next year, I think is a reflection of that.
Middleton Cross Plains, meanwhile, is projecting students will return as in-person classes do the same.
$3.60
High Point Christian School is expecting its additional students to stay next year.
On our campus, I would say that we're up about 25 students, which is a fairly significant deal for us. And it looks like that number is going to be higher next year.
Very nice.
Every single day she comes home and says, "Oh, I had the best day ever." And
Jennifer's youngest will be staying at her new private school.
that was probably the biggest thing, is knowing when we made the choice to take her, we probably weren't going to go back.
Difficult decisions now that may have a big impact on children's futures.
There's a lot of reasons why there's hope, I think.
High Point Christian School saw no COVID spread. Janesville, which has also been in person, saw next to none, according to the superintendent. We didn't hear back from Madison, Sun Prairie, or Beloit districts to get their take on all of this, but we do have more on this story on our website. And tune in tomorrow for part 2 of the virtual impact on academic performance.